Welcome to Season 3 of Heart of the Gulch. On today's episode, we sit down with the ever-so-popular country artist, Walker Montgomery. We talk about his Kentucky upbringing, love of bourbon, and performing all over the United States. In today's Walk the Line episode, Walker invites us to his showcase promoting his brand new EP release, Work to Do. Let's check out the episode. What's going on, everybody? My name is Tony Mendoza, and welcome to the Heart of the Gulch. And today, oh boy, today we got a Kentucky born and raised man. We got a person who is in country music royalty as a family. And then not only that, he's got some amazing songs, and he just released one just recently, Work to Do. We got Walker Montgomery in the building. Whoa.
There you go.
Man, you just got me all startled up here, man.
It's all good. I like hearing the applause, though, but I really want to hear that Ric Flair. Woo! There you go.
Walker, what's going on, man?
Man, just doing the thing. Appreciate you having me on and just recording music, man. Just got off the road, had a show with Uncle Eddie, actually, back home in Kentucky, and a place called Log Still Distillery, which is a bourbon I'm going to give you after this. But yeah, man, it's been good. It's been good.
Love Log Still, and that's in Barnestown, right?
Yeah, New Haven, Bardstown.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, it's all the same thing. You know, it's like a 50-mile radius where all the bourbon's made.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
I got many trips out there. Coming from Texas, where everything is so far, 3 hours means nothing to me.
Oh yeah.
So I'm making constantly the drive to Kentucky all the time.
Yeah. Well, I don't blame you, man. I say it's just long enough to make you mad. You know, it's like but it's still just perfect. You know, of course, I'm from 3.5 hours away. When I first moved down here, it was about 3.5 hours. Now it's about 4. But yeah, man, it's a great place to. You know, I'm lucky that my home state's the bordering state. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nashville was the spot that you wanted to venture out to because that is where all the music is happening, and that's where there's amazing musicians in Kentucky. Yeah. I find out every day that there's a new musician coming to Nashville that's from Kentucky. Mm-hmm. What is it about that state that just has such a great sound, but not only great sound, but great talent?
Yeah. Man, hey, look, if I knew the answer, I'd start a record label and just start picking and choosing, you know. But I don't know, man. I think something about the bluegrass influence in Kentucky definitely has something to do with it. And some of the country stars from the past, you know, has something to do with it. I think Dad has a lot of influence in Kentucky. Uncle Eddie, Chris Stapleton, obviously, of course, he's current, you know. But I just think there's a lot of, for young folks like me and people who are coming out of there, there's a lot of good people to look up to from Kentucky, and I think just having something like that, having that good base, really helps the new crop.
Yeah,
you know,
there you go, new crop.
Come down and kind of hone their art.
Well, like whiskey barrels, man, they're always maturing, right? And you're always changing up the taste, every single one. Not every same distillery, because I'm going to talk about bourbon no matter what.
Man,
I'm a big bourbon fan, and
so am I.
Oh yeah, I know it. What's your favorite, just off the top?
Man, I'll tell you what. There's a company called Barrel Bourbon, and they've got one called Dovetail. And it's a really good sipping bourbon, really good daily sipper. I mean, of course, I love the Blantons, I love the Wellers, I love, you know, all those. And it's kind of weird because I've got some buddies who own bourbon companies and stuff like that, so I gotta like theirs and stuff. But it all gets the job done.
Kentucky born and raised, does that mean that bourbon is just in the heritage, embedded in time when you're growing up?
Yeah, man. I mean, it definitely is a little bit. I'm a little bit of a bourbon snob just being from Kentucky, but it's definitely part of the culture, you know, and especially this past decade, it seems like bourbon has just exploded.
Oh man, absolutely.
And the popularity of bourbon has just exploded, which is great for Kentucky. I mean, when I first moved down here, it kind of blew my mind because Buffalo Trace, I mean, it's a good bourbon, but it's not like the most sought after bourbon where I'm from. And I mean, that's what we drank in college, you know. And when I first moved down
That's
here,
a flex now.
There's like, well, I mean, hell, it's Kentucky though. You know,
that's right. That's where it's made.
But everybody's like trying to find Buffalo Trace. I'm like, Buffalo Trace, really? I mean,
we got those as mixers.
Get Blanton's or whatever it is. And like I said, Buffalo Trace is a great bourbon, but we're spoiled up there.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Now, I'm wondering this. We had a little chat before the cameras were on about you venturing out to Texas. Now, you've traveled so much. It's like every week I'm watching your stories. You're in a different city, sometimes even a different state.
Yeah.
But, when you think about your times in Texas, I mean, can you name me a couple spots in Texas that you love?
Well, I'll tell you what, I just went to Dallas for the first time, Dallas-Fort Worth, because I'm a big history guy. We had a show down there for PBR, World Finals. World
it looked so much fun.
Man, it was a great time. I'd never been down there. Downtown Dallas kind of sucked, but Fort Worth
is where it's at.
Was amazing. Dude.
So I'm guessing the
stockyards.
Stockyards.
Move there. I wanted to move. Yeah, we went to the Stockyards, but we stayed right downtown. And I mean, hell, I wanted to move there. It's kind of like what I thought Nashville was going to be like when I first moved down here.
that ain't the truth, right?
Yeah. But no, man, it was great. But I'll tell you my San Antonio story where you're from.
Let's do it.
And San Antonio is a great town. We had a great time in it. But like I said, I'm a history buff. So in Dallas, I wanted to see the Texas Book Depository, George W. Bush Library, and all the everything.
Amazing library, by the way.
Oh my God, it was awesome. I mean, it was a beautiful place. And same with the Texas Book Depository was just eerie, man.
Really?
I mean, they've got that thing set up like nobody's business.
Man, that's why we love being Texas, man.
Awesome.
They take care of us down there.
Yeah, man. No, it's all. I mean, they really got it set up nice. But down in San Antonio, Riverwalk's awesome. I mean, just everything about it. But we got robbed there, and it was just before COVID, so it was 2019. And my boys and I went in my band. We'd had a show down there, and I was like, boys, we're going to see the Alamo. And so we went and see the Alamo, and we pulled up. There's this parking lot right next to the Alamo, and there was this old boy. He was waving people in the parking lot, and we were like, all right, well, that's the parking lot worker, whatever it was. So we parked. He showed us where to park. We handed him $20 or whatever it was. We come back, and all of our stuff was gone in our Mercedes Sprinter van or whatever it was. He took Reese's cups. He took computers. I mean, everything, like a PlayStation or something. I guess one of the boys had a PlayStation. Took everything. But after that, we went to a place. We were like, all right, whatever, let's get drunk.
What about the equipment? Was there any equipment?
It was gone. Everything was gone.
Oh man,
yeah.
Okay.
But luckily, we backlined the show and all that. But after that, we were like, all right, let's get drunk. So we went to a place called the Salt Mine, which was right by our hotel and right by the San Antonio airport. I don't know if you know it.
Yeah, 410 area. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
It was the wildest bar I've ever been in. We walked in, and everybody was dressed as like fairy tale characters, all the bartenders and stuff. We were the only ones in the bar too. But on the front of the bar was like a children's pizza place. And I guess that the parents would drop the kids off, and they'd eat pizza, and then they'd go back to the bar and get drunk, throw darts and stuff like that. It's a wild place. Google it after this.
Oh my gosh.
Man. But San Antonio is an interesting town, man. It's awesome.
Well, I don't claim to do everything in San Antonio, you know. So, but one thing that I love about that story, by the way, because I love it when someone knows where I'm from.
Yeah.
So going back to your roots.
Yeah.
Right. Prior to you moving to Nashville, you came out with one of your biggest songs. Yeah. And Simple Times, right?
Yep.
And I mean, you wrote that one when you were 18 years old?
I was 18 years old, and I'll tell you what, it was I've always said, because I'd never had any interest in writing songs or whatever, just whatever it was. I was singing out, but I was just singing covers and stuff. And I always say it was a God thing, because I was just sitting in my dorm at UK. Now, I went to UK for like a glorious 9 weeks. Let's just get that straight.
Rushed in, then that was it, right?
Yeah, man. But I rushed, and I was like, all right, boys, I'll see you later.
You got to experience some good college times, though.
Oh, it was awesome. It was awesome. But one day, man, I sat down, and I was like, well, I'm going to write a song. And I probably wrote it in like 45 minutes or an hour. And that's what came out. And we were playing it at a UK football game. They had these pre-concerts and stuff. And we were playing it there, and the radio guy, first time we ever played it, radio guy came up to me afterwards. His name's Michael Jordan, of all things. And he said, "Hey, if you record that song, I'll put it on the radio." And I was like, "Boy," and I was still in college at the time. And I said, "Well, boys, I'm dropping out of college." And we went. Luckily he kept his word and
followed the momentum, right?
Yeah, because he's a great man, and we recorded it, and it did really well for me.
That's amazing. Yeah. And then not only that, I mean, one thing that I'm sure it means to you more now, listening back to that song, because it's about it's about a small town.
Yeah.
And not only that, it's not that Nashville isn't a small town. Mm-hmm. It's just there's roots that are embedded in you that you cannot find in Nashville, and that's why I'm guessing you go back, you venture back out to Kentucky a lot.
Oh man, look, I love Nashville. I do love it. I love Tennessee, but something about Kentucky, man, it's got my heart. It always will. Nicholasville, Kentucky, Lexington, Kentucky. It was just a great place to grow up, man. It's
gorgeous, man. It's unlike
it's great.
No
awesome.
Disrespect to anyone who's watching this from Tennessee or Texas, especially. I'm gonna be honest right now, not Louisville, but just the entire state of Kentucky.
Yeah.
You got the hills. Mm-hmm. You got how green it is.
Yeah.
And in Texas, I'm sure you saw this. It was just little small trees, and everything's pretty much flat.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Now there is some beautiful parts of Texas, I will say that, but it's totally different landscape.
Mm-hmm.
But I was blessed to grow up. We had a little farm. We had some acreage. And it was free. We were free, man. When we wanted to go outside, we could go outside, play in the creek, just do whatever we wanted to do. And I was really lucky to grow up in Kentucky. I really was.
I love it. And you know what? Everyone who's from Kentucky raves about that state.
Yeah.
And so, family ties. I'm questioning, have you always had this voice? Have you?
Yeah.
It sounds amazing, man.
I don't know, man. I'll go back. I'll hear something. Somebody post something with Simple Town on the Instagram or whatever, they're playing it, and I'm like, daggum, I sound like a child. And because I was 18 years old, but no, I've always had a naturally deeper voice, but it took a while, singing wise, for me to kind of mature and really get my voice strong. And I remember when I first started going on the road, I'd get so worn out. My vocals would get so worn out. And you had to learn, you had to learn to have stamina and how to take care of it properly. And but yeah, I've always had a, little bit deeper voice than most people. Yeah.
I'll let you get a drink of that. But one thing that I've noticed about you is my first time experience your music actually was at a writer's round. And the first thing that I noticed was your stage presence. Now, there is a lot of people that play in Nashville, especially in writers' rounds.
Yeah.
And it's not that they don't have any stage presence. It's just when they're on stage, they don't command the floor. Mm-hmm. Especially if you're in a writers' round with 3 other people that are playing with you. And sometimes they can trickle into your song, right?
Yeah.
And do little licks and things like that.
Yeah.
But man,
which annoys the hell out of me.
Does it annoy you?
Oh my god! In a writer's round, it does. You're like, you're messing up my song, especially if it's a newer song or something. But
you're a lot more seasoned than a lot of people that are doing writers rounds.
Well, I guess it just depends on the person, But I've been doing writers rounds for a long time, for 4 or 5 years now, and they're fun, man. They're really good. I kind of go in phases with them. It's like if I got new music coming out,
you test it out at the writers
I want
rounds?
to go test it out and learn how to play it too, because it's totally different if you're sitting in your room playing the song, then to get up in front of some people and then you still got to play it. But yeah, look, they're fun. They're great for Nashville. They're great for songwriters. And great for artists.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That is, like I said, though, where did the stage presence come from? Because it's I know you're laughing it off, and I know it's kind of humbling to hear it from someone else, but even from your shows, you've done many different kind of concerts.
Yeah.
You've done festivals.
Yeah.
And shout out to that. That deserves a Ric Flair really. But festivals is not the same. Is not the same thing as a writers round. Yeah. Because one, there's probably a lot more drunk people at a festival.
Luckily,
but also probably a little bit more. What's the word for it? Heckling. in a festival too, though.
Yeah. Oh, look, I've been heckled before, by just some drunkard or something like that. But look, every crowd is different, and that's what makes it fun. Stage presence, when I get up there, I'm not shotgunning beers or whatever, just because I can't. I just can't shotgun a beer. Which is, I can do it, but it's gonna take a little bit.
Yeah.
But
at least you admit it, because I can't either, bro. I can't do it.
It's whatever. I don't care. But I'm not jumping around or whatever. It's just not my style. Yeah. And I'd be out of breath so fast if I did. I really want to tell the story of the song, and I think when you do that, and I love these songs. I love all my songs. I'm really genuine about these songs just because I really do believe in them, and I believe in what we're doing. When you do that, it draws people in, and even if it's some drunkard at a festival, And when I say it's a bad day to be a beer, they're like, well,
exactly.
Which I love it. But no, man, every crowd is different, and that's really what makes it fun being on the road. It's like the old saying, if everybody was the same, it'd be boring.
Boring.
If every crowd was the same, it'd get old. But luckily they're not, and it doesn't get old.
I mean, when you think about all your times and everything that you have done, all the different types of concerts and the songs and I mean, what's one song that sticks out to you in your category and your discography?
Yeah, doing Simple Town always has a special meaning to me just because it was the first one. And, of course, I'd never done a song that I'd never written a song. But Simple Town's got a special place in my heart to this day. But they all do, and for different reasons. Even a song like Rust that I like to call Bust because it didn't do that well. But it's still just it's a fun song for me to sing, and almost just because it brings back memories. And brings back memories of me recording how life was back then, what was going on in my life and how it's changed. But that's what music does to you. You hear a song for the first time, and then 10 years later you hear a song and you remember the first time you heard it. If I had to choose one, it'd have to be Simple Town.
I love that. And I'm curious about what might crack the code, right? Have you figured out the...
I wish.
Yeah, well, okay. Well, fair enough. But I mean, when it comes down to... do you know more or less when you're writing a song, or what's your writing process like? Is it something a little different from everyone else? Some people like a lot of people in the room. What is your writing process like?
I like a good amount of people in the room, 3 or 4. But I'm a melody guy, so I'm sure it drives my family crazy. I'm walking around the house just, humming melodies with my phone up to my ear, recording them. But it just depends on the day, really, on the process. Sometimes I'm a word guy that day. I'm a lyric guy that day. But for the most part, I'm a melody guy. And having some good friends in the room, it really helps. It helps that out. I don't know if my process is different from anybody else, but just because it's different from everybody else because everybody is different. Nobody's figured out the
algorithm
yet. Some people just, I guess they're just better songwriters than other people, and they know exactly what they want to say too. And sometimes it takes people a long time to figure out what they say. Sometimes they know what they want to say from the get-go. Luckily I knew exactly what I wanted to say from the get-go. But every time I go into that writing room, man, all I try to do is just write a genuine song, and because I just don't think people are going to believe it if you don't believe it.
Absolutely. Yeah. And there's one thing, we're going to take a quick break after this, but I'm curious about this because I heard you talk about it a few times that there's so many different variations of country music.
Yeah.
I mean, you said it yourself that there's some Texas country that's a little different, and you're talking about your own voice, how how would you describe different types of country?
It's all about what it says to me. And I get, people are like, oh, that's not country, that's pop country, whatever it is. And I mean, look, there's some that I don't like, there's some that I do like. It's whatever, it's just whatever. But if it says what you want it to say, and it's in that country category, it's country music. But that's what country music is to me, at least. It's all about what it says. It's what it sounds like is up to personal preference. And me, I prefer, the more traditional country, but that's just me. Some people might prefer the more pop country or the bro country or whatever it is.
The people that are watching this, what would be considered to you, Walker, the traditional country?
Well, I mean, what's going on now, Cody Johnson, what I'm doing, I'm really trying to do the traditional country. It just fits me better. But obviously I grew up with Dad. I mean, Dad's first 3 albums, Life's a Dance, Kicking It Up, and a self-titled album, John Michael Montgomery. You listen back, I mean, those are pretty traditional country albums. But then you get into the Johnny Cashes and stuff like that, and the Waylon Jennings. I mean, it's in a sense it's outlaw country, but it also started it all.
Well, that's history, and you're a history guy.
Yeah. So I mean, it's definitely, when I think of traditional country music, I think of the '90s. When I think of like outlaw country music, I think of Johnny Cash and Waylon Jennings and Willie Nelson, stuff like that. But yeah, to me, I'd just say, hell, turn on Prime Country. You'll hear some traditional country radio.
Inspirations, man. I mean, who has inspired you from the past? Yeah. But I'm also curious about today. Who do you look as someone who inspires you? You said Cody Johnson, but yeah. I think everyone. Well, let's start with the past first. Who's inspired you from the past?
Well, I mean, I know it's a, kind of the easy answer, but look, Dad has tremendously, and I think I'll tell you why. And not only because he's my dad, but because he's just my dad. And we have a very non-musical relationship. And I think that it could have been the other way. And I'm very lucky that it's not. And he's just my dad, father and son relationship. He didn't push me. It
wasn't like a sports dad, basically.
Yeah, it wasn't a sports dad.
Yeah, when you mean that from music, you're also you're kind of saying that he wasn't the type to really put pressure on you to go into that lane.
Yeah. But it's very inspiring because he didn't do that. I think he always kind of knew I was going to find it my own way. And he knew he didn't have to.
Why so, though? Why do you think when, looking at his parenting, because we're all probably going to be parents.
Yeah.
Why do you think he chose to not really, kind of like football dads, right? That push them really hard to play the same sport that they played. Why do you think?
And I don't know the answer. We've never talked about it. I just think that if I was going to love music, he knew I was going to find it on my own. And but I mean, he never pushed me to. I mean, he pushed me to work hard.
Yeah.
In all aspects of my life, but I was a football player. He never pushed me to play football, basketball player, acting, whatever it was. He kind of, instead of pushing me to do things, my mother as well. My dad was on the road a lot. So mother.
You got to shout out mom, man. You got to shout out mom.
Yeah.
We love them.
Well, Dad was on the road, so much. Mother was the one. Really, at home with us, but they both surrounded me instead of pushing. They surrounded me with great activities and great things to do. Mm-hmm. And I think that was the main thing. And like I said, if I was going to find music, he knew I was going to find it on my own.
I love that answer. And then now also taking away your dad from the past. Mm-hmm. Also, who has really inspired you?
Music-wise, I'll tell you what, Tracy Lawrence. I'm a big waltz fan, and in fact, that's what I've been trying to write recently, and because my next love song, I really want it to be a waltz, and like old-fashioned waltz. I want people dancing. That's
challenging, man.
Yeah. Oh, it's hard, but I'm gonna get it right.
Your new song right now, I can see myself, and that's another thing about Texas that Nashville doesn't have enough of is two-stepping.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But the new song that you got out, we'll talk about it later on. But man, I can hear that in two-stepping all day.
But Tracy, man, one I've had the pleasure of opening up for him a couple times, but he's a good man as well, and his songs really, really, they're believable, and I think that it's just another example of the genuine, being genuine in your songs. You can tell that he believes them. You can tell that if he wrote them or not, he knew exactly what he wanted to say.
Have you been on a show yet?
I haven't been on a show yet.
Oh, man, we got to get you on that show.
One of these days.
I've noticed, man, he's been kicking butt with his show.
Yeah, man.
And honestly,
he's a funny dude now.
Oh, dude.
He's a funny guy.
I think he does it inside his RV.
I think he does it on his bus. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll let you get a drink of that. But anyway, so one thing we always talk about is finding that person who inspires you today, but not necessarily just inspiring you, but someone you could catch. Yeah. I think you're a competitive guy. I know you are.
Yeah.
And but the thing is, there's someone out there that you're looking to, not really from an inspirational standpoint, but someone out there that's like, hey, he's doing this. Maybe I need to do this, and I'll catch up to him here.
Yeah.
I mean, today, in today's country music world, who are you looking to now?
Man, that's a really tough question. And I've never really thought about it before. I think that it's definitely in human nature to compare.
Yep.
And be competitive. Hell, but I don't know. I think the older I've gotten, I act like I'm a 70-year-old man, but I'm 24. But, the older I've gotten, I've kind of realized if I start looking at what other people are doing, it just ain't going to happen. It just ain't going to happen for me. But if I kind of just put the horse blinders on and just do my own thing and believe in what I'm doing, then that's, that is the best that has the best possible outcome. So I really don't know the answer to that, but putting the blinders on and just having tunnel vision, that's kind of what I'm focused on.
Starting from where you started at 18 to now, I mean, talk to me about the differences.
I'll tell you what, I've been really lucky. I signed with, I'm not there anymore, but when I first moved down here, I signed with a company called Play It Again. Dallas Davidson, who's a great American, and they taught me a lot. It was a really good place for me to learn how to write a song, learn how to be an artist, just learn how to be in Nashville. Basically, it was a good place for me to have some triumphs, make some mistakes.
The Nashville charts that no one knows about.
Yeah, right. Yeah. You ain't lying. But no, man, it was a great place, and it was a great first deal, pub deal and stuff for me to. Like I said, I'm not there anymore. But I mean, look, I love Dallas, and I love being there. But it was a process. I'm not gonna lie, just because hell, I was green as everybody. I'll tell you something. When I first moved down to Nashville, and people are always surprised by this, I think I'd been to Nashville probably 4 times in my entire life.
Wow, being it that close.
Being that close, and just with Dad being involved down here. One, we had no interest in coming down here, but just because we're in Kentucky.
Yeah.
But I think 2 of the times or 3 of the times was for like the Music City Bowl, so they weren't even music related.
Yeah.
But
was
man.
UK playing?
Yeah, UK was playing.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, but so I mean, hell, I didn't know anything about songwriting, didn't know anything about Nashville, so I was just as green as anybody else. But so I had to learn, but we kind of hit the ground running on it.
Well, let the people know that are watching this today from outside of Nashville who are not musicians what the heck the Nashville charts are.
Well, it's a much easier way to chart music instead of actually reading music. I can't read music. Dad can't read music. Eddie can't read music, to my knowledge. But no, it's a lot easier. And hell, you get to the studio and these guys,
other musicians he's talking about, other musicians, the people that actually can make the background music and all the instrumentals.
Look, I'm not a absolute pro on it, but I know just enough to be dangerous. But these guys, and woo, I mean, we'll get in the studio, and Lonnie Wilson, my drummer, or my studio drummer, and all these, I mean, these people are just amazing. You hand them, you don't even have to hand it to them. They can listen to it, and they're
1, 2, 3, 4.
It's some of the people who don't get talked about enough are the musicians in town. They're just, I mean, they're nuts. I mean, they're just incredible, just insanely talented. And Hell, I mean, if I was that talented on an instrument, y'all might never see me again because I'd be making so much money in the studio
behind the scenes.
I mean, but no, man. Yeah, it's just a much easier way to chart.
Man,
Let's just say that.
I appreciate you saying that because actually you're the first guest in this chair, and we've had a lot of people in that chair, and none of them have talked about the musicians, the studio musicians that are here in this city that, you know, may not be in the main stage, but the people that know their names in the music industry that record every day, they have the utmost respect because they can turn something so simple from an idea to a melody into something tangible. Am I right about that?
Oh, absolutely. And, you know, they're just really damn good at their jobs. And they know that their job is to help the artist or the band or whatever it is, their dream of a song kind of come to life and make it as much as it can be. And for the most part, a lot of them do just an amazing job. But their talent is superb. I mean, it's just nuts. It really is how they can just do. I mean, we'll be in the studio and I'm just amazed by it every time.
Oh, absolutely. Now you were talking about how, let's transition to a couple of the festivals and a couple of shows. I mean, you know, what's a couple shows that stick out to you outside of your recent one in Texas?
Yeah. Going back to Lexington, Manchester Music Hall, that's my favorite place to play. But we've had some really, really good shows, man, and we've been lucky. I mean, we've gotten able to open up for a lot of good people. Coastal and Dell. I mean, Josh Turner's a great guy. We done some stuff with him. TL, Tracy Lawrence. It's really hard to pin down a specific show. Yeah. You know, it just really is because, and that kind of goes back to they're all so different. And, you know, some things I love about one place, some things I don't like so much about the other place, and vice versa. You know, it's just, that's a good question.
Well, I mean, what's one area, this is going to make you think a little bit, but, you know, what's one area in the United States that you have gone to, you know, you've played live. Yeah. What's one area that no one would think had such a great crowd and a great presence?
I'll tell you what, and I feel like more and more people are now saying this, and I'm happy about it. The Northeast is awesome.
Shout out to the people in the Northeast. We're too south to know where you mean.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, we played a show in Point Pleasant. I was watching the news the other day, and I saw the dock on the beach, and I was like, that looks familiar. And I saw Jenks Club right behind the newscast lady, and I was like, well, hell, I played there. But yeah, man, New Jersey, we played there last summer. I guess it was like July, maybe June. It was like 85 degrees, no humidity. I was like, hell, why the hell are we coming up here to go on vacation, man? You know, it was perfect. You know,
everyone goes to Florida, Bama, and it's super humid and everything.
Stuff like that. But I mean, no, it was. And I'll tell you what, man, they love country music up there.
Really?
I mean, you get upstate New York and stuff like that. We played the Woodstock. You know, the land that Woodstock was there. With
That's
Leonard.
Crazy too. If talking about awesome. A history buff.
Bethel, I think Bethel Woods or something like that. And we played there with Leonard Skinner. I guess 2021 or something like that, and they just love it up there, and nobody ever goes up there.
Well, you know? It's because, you know, when you think about country music, you think about a few states, really. Yeah. And but the thing is, country music universal, and it's really touching people from all over. But speaking about, you know, some of the tough times on the road, I mean, because like you said, you've just threw out a few big names.
Yeah.
Now, there is challenges for a country artist to be on the road, you know, so much. I mean, talk to me about some of the difficulties that someone that may be watching that's interested in being in country music that have not experienced yet going on the road.
You know, I didn't have a lot of advantages from having Dad be who he is, you know, and a lot of people think, you know, Dad, you know, oh, he's just in it because Dad, whatever it is. But one advantage that I did have, and I'm not too prideful to admit it, is I knew how to tour, and because I'd been on a bus my whole life, you know, I mean, I'd just been, we'd been burning up blacktop more than I can remember, you know, every other weekend, and so I knew how to tour pretty well, and there is a lot of work that people don't see, and that's just it really is. They see the hour and a half on stage, and I think that goes with most businesses. There's just so much behind the scenes stuff that people don't see, and it takes a village too. Obviously I'm the one up there singing, but I've got a really good band and crew behind me who's setting up the stuff, making sure we're on time. My TM, Nick Bernard, who doubles as my bass player.
Shout him out, man.
Yeah,
we love it when people shout out the teams, man.
Got Kentucky Mike, who drives, sells merch, who's a road manager, and but yeah, there's a bunch of stuff, man, that everybody doesn't see. And like I said, they see the hour and a half, whatever it is, on stage, and that's the funnest part.
And which is very challenging too. Like you just talked about it while you're growing up, man. It's just your voice and just the exercise that it takes.
Yeah.
I mean, people don't even realize they go out to a concert and they screaming all day. What's their next day like? They can't talk.
Oh, they can't talk, and I mean, hell. Or you go out drinking, you drink a bottle of whiskey one night. It's the same thing, and that happens on the road too, trust me. But but no, I mean, there's just so much. And like I said, I feel like that goes with any business.
Sure.
There's just so much that people don't see. And in a lot of cases, it's probably a good thing.
Yeah, I love that. Now, what about some? So let's get down to your newer music.
Yeah, man.
I want to talk about it because, like I said, so Work to Do.
Yeah, man.
Work to Do. You released it at the time that we're filming this around 3 weeks ago, about a month ago.
Yeah.
And my goodness, when I started listening, I was listening to it prior to you showing up here, and I'm not going to play your music when you walk in.
Yeah, it will.
But
I appreciate that, actually.
Well, I was listening to it because I just wanted to make sure that I understood what it was like. And man, let me tell you something.
Yeah.
Like I told you before, in Nashville, there just isn't enough two-stepping.
Yeah, man.
That song had something where I could get my girlfriend and I could easily two-step to that song.
Yeah. Well, I've just been, every single song, it seems like, that I've done has been, ever since the beginning, has just leaned more and more traditional. And this past year, we got a new producer. We got Bart Butler's producing me, who does John Party, Warren Ziders. And we just kind of kicked it off, talked about what I wanted to do, and I think we nailed the we hit the nail on the head.
And it sounds like you too, which is amazing.
It's very natural. I'll tell you what, it's very, not only writing the stuff is very natural, but singing it when I'm in the studio and stuff, it's a great experience being able to go into the studio and sing these songs. But yeah, man, it's definitely more me, and that's what I showed the songs to my mom, and that was the first thing she said. She goes, "Oh my, they're so you," and I was like, "Well, she probably knows me the best, so
that's a good sign right there." Now,
but yeah, man, I'm really proud of how they turned out. I really am.
Are you independent now?
Yeah.
How's that like? So you've got to see both, and luckily you're independent at your age.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people now. I mean, talk to me about the pros and cons of signing a deal versus being independent, having your own say on things.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I love Play It Again, and they gave me a lot of say and a lot of freedom, and I'll always appreciate that. I mean, I don't really. I guess you just own all the damn songs when you're independent.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess so far that's been really the only difference.
Really,
but like I said, I was at a great place.
Is it similar to a lot of people when they think about independence? They an independent artist.
Yeah.
There are a lot of gauges now that you must have to go through because you have to track, like analytics wise, how things are doing.
Yeah.
So like your new song that just came out, how's it doing?
Oh, it's doing great, man. We got a great response, and I'm lucky. I mean, I still have a team. I've got Jenny Tackett, Sean McSpadden, who are my managers. And then I've got Quentin Digital, Amanda Quentin, who's helping me out with social media because I'll tell you what, I need it.
That was the funniest thing. That's one thing I love about you, man, is when I watch you on Instagram, you really lean heavy to almost, and you're only 24, dude, and you lean real heavy to like the dad style of Instagram.
My buddy Trey, I think it's Trey Team who said that. He said, "Man, you're everybody's favorite dad," or maybe it was my. And you're
too young to be a dad, but I'm very surprised that
Yeah.
when it comes to social media, you try to stay away from the trend and how it is a little bit.
Well, look, man, I guess I think I'm hip. I think I'm hip. I'm hip, but we did something. It was all the hip words or something.
It was all
like that.
You were standing up. So for the people that didn't watch it, first of all, you could see it on your Instagram page, right? You just stood up in front of a wall and people just said words and you had to interpret those words.
Yeah, they were like hot girl summer or hot girl walk or something like. They were all these dumb words that I'll tell you what. I learned them. You're right. I mean, we do lean into kind of the dad joke stuff, but that's because I don't use these words. I'm a grown man. I'm not using Gucci. I'm not saying that. Or
what about lit?
I don't say that. I'm a grown man, and I say part like having a good time. That's probably what I would say. Mm-hmm. Or Gucci, like possibly looking good. Maybe you're looking good. I don't say Gucci. But I don't know. So I mean, it's natural for me to be yourself.
Do that.
I'm being myself on there. I just don't use these words. But it is. I mean, look, it is funny. It's terrifying that grown men use those words on a regular basis. But no, man, and that stuff's fun for me, and I get to learn new words, I guess. But
you make it seem like it's like kindergarten class all over for old people that talk weird. Now, let's talk about your fans real quick because I got fan questions here.
Okay,
and
good.
It's called crowd noise. But in a minute, we're gonna talk. I want to talk about just your fans and where are you seeing your fans really show up? Is it at every single time you come out? Do you have diehards that show up to try to hit every show, or is it all social media very heavy with your fans as well?
A little bit of both. We do have some diehards that come to every show, and I'll tell you what, I appreciate it. I mean, they're great. A lot of them been with me since the beginning, and they stuck with me. And I didn't release music for over a year, so it's good to know that they're loyal and they stuck with me through all this time. But we've got some diehards that come to every show, and we've got some really good followings on the Instagram and the TikTok and stuff like that. And of course, I think TikTok's the dumbest thing ever, but it
shorten our attention span, sadly.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
I haven't gotten into that either, to be honest.
But I'll post some stuff on there, and it'll do well or it won't do well. It's just. But I'll tell you what, we've got some really good people following along, and it's just been great. I hope they know how much I appreciate them. I got a feeling they do, but if they don't, I hope that changes soon.
Absolutely. Well, hey, I got some questions from some fans, so let's check it out in 1 second. Superstition. Before we go into crowd noise, I was talking about that because these people know what my favorite thing to wear is on my shoes every time. Yeah. And, do you have any superstitions before you go out on a road or?
Not before I go out on the road, mostly with Kentucky football.
Really? Bring this guy a little closer to you.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, mostly with Kentucky football. If we win a game or something, I'm gonna wear the same shirt, same underwear, same stuff. Oh yeah, it's bad. Well, because I'm a football guy. Look, I cheer for the basketball team. I'm not like.
It's been tough for you, man. It's been tough for UK.
Yeah, but hell, football team's been doing better than basketball team, which I'm happy about because I'm a football fan. But it's maybe I won't wear the same underwear, but if we're playing like Tennessee or something, I will.
What's your favorite stadium you've been to yet?
I'll tell you what, Kentucky Commonwealth Kroger Field, it's a special place. It really is. I don't know if it's just because I grew up there or whatever. If I had to choose an away stadium, I would probably choose Mississippi State.
I've never been there yet.
We went down there. Dad and I went down there. It was 2015 or something. It was 2015 or something like that. It was Dak's last year. And so we were lucky enough. We got down on the field because we're buddies with Stoops and stuff. He's a great guy. And so we went down on the field. That is the loudest place you've ever. They got those daggum cowbells.
Cowbells, man.
It's annoying as hell.
Oh.
But it's a great environment.
What is one thing that you will always? So what's one thing you look forward to the most when you're doing a live show? Is it going to be the guitar? Is it going to be a certain mic? Is it going to be, what is it? Maybe a headphones?
Yeah, I love my in-ears, yeah. Just getting up there, man. I mean, when I'm doing a live show, it is definitely it's an experience every single time. And it doesn't matter. I mean, look, I've got an SE capsule on my mic. I love the way it sounds. I love, all my equipment I'm lucky enough to own, and I love it all. But if I didn't have any of that, I'd still do it.
Is it important for a musician a touring musician and just a playing musician to own their own items?
Some people rent them. I think most people would probably rent them from Claire Brothers or wherever, sound check. And I don't know. I just always liked owning my crap,
No, I'm the same way, bro. Nothing in this apartment is owned other than the building that we're in.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Yeah.
So you're right. But hey, speaking of the crowd, we got a section called Crowd Noise where people talk to you. So let's get on to crowd noise.
Hey Walker, what is a dream venue you want to play in the future?
Oh, daggum. Rep Arena up in Lexington. That's kind of the place where we were, we'd go to concerts there. That was the place. And the fact I opened up they had a festival called Red, White, and Boom there a few years back. And I opened up there, but to be able to headline Rep Arena, man, would be a dream come true. Dad did it back in the 90s, 2 nights in a row. Eddie and Troy did it. Having a Montgomery do it the third time would be really special.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many different venues in here, but I mean, how many spots in Nashville? I mean, obviously it's a Nashville-based show, so I mean, where are some spots in Nashville that you would really love?
I'll tell you what, I think Marathon Music Works is a great place, man.
Ooh, where's that?
I really do. It's where the Whiskey Jam headquarters is. You know where? What's the American Pickers place?
Yes.
It's right there. Yeah, and they've got a venue in there, and I've been to a few concerts there. Been to a few events there, and that's probably the place I'd go. It's a really, really cool spot.
What's it like for you to be not on stage and to be just a person in the crowd? I mean,
I don't like it.
You don't like it? Why not? But wait, you don't look at other people and then try to determine like what you could do differently or what you would have done differently?
Well, I mean, I don't think, I would have done that differently. Because everybody's just doing their own thing, but, so I don't know. I don't go to a lot of concerts.
But when you do,
but when I do, I try to enjoy them. If I go to a concert, it's probably for somebody I really enjoy. But yeah, man, I'm not out there kind of nitpicking on what they do. I'm just trying to, because if I go and see, let's see, I don't even know. If I went and saw somebody,
you really are in your own lane, aren't you?
Yeah.
You really are in your own lane.
I'm like, I don't even know. But if I saw somebody and they're jumping around on stage or something, I'm not like, why the hell are they doing that? It's like, just because I don't do that. It's just. Well,
you're cool, calm, collected, and it shows not only in the music, it shows in the way you present yourself. It's the voice, all these things.
I'm a very relaxed person.
Yeah, I love it.
But yeah, man, but I do enjoy going to concerts, if it's somebody I really like. Yeah.
All right, well, let's go on to the final question here by a fan. Let's see.
What is one of the funniest mess ups you've ever had performing live?
I'll tell you what, we were in, where were we? Annapolis, Maryland. And we might have had a few drinks too, but I was opening up for John Langston. And it was a place called Union Jacks or something like that, Amber Jacks. I don't even remember. But and we were going on stage, and I dropped my microphone, and it rolled under the stage. And luckily, I could get to it. So that my band's playing the intro and stuff up there, wondering where the hell I am, and I'm under the stage on my hands and knees trying to find my microphone. And it's dark, there's no lights or whatever, and I'm just like, I didn't have my phone, so I'm just reaching around for my microphone. Finally found it, and the first song was damn near over, but it took me about 2.5 minutes to find that microphone. Yeah, that's probably the most embarrassing thing.
What does your band think?
Oh, they were just rocking out, man. They were rocking out. They were like, well, I don't know. I don't know if they thought I had to use the bathroom or something, but or whatever it was, but they didn't stop, so I was proud of them.
Talk about the experience you had when you were on stage and your mom called.
Oh, I think we were in Jacksonville, Florida. Okay. With Parker McCollum, and who's a great guy, by the way. Just an real awesome dude. But and sellout crowd everywhere he goes, he sells out. And I've had my Apple Watch on, which I never go on stage with. I don't know why I had it on, but I felt it buzzing. I was in the middle of a song, and I looked down, and it was my mom, and I was like, I really need to answer this because it's my mom, but I've never done this before. And the main thing was I knew she was going to get pissed off at me. So I answered it and started talking to her. And about halfway through, I was like, oh, by the way, I'm on stage, and I put her up to the microphone, and, she's like, what the fuck? I mean, she was pretty mad, but it was a funny experience. The crowd loved it and stuff. It was a funny thing. I forgot about that.
I love that story, man. And then also, I'm curious because everyone has a funny story about a sign or maybe something that a fan gave you.
Yeah.
I mean, what is and then I'm going to go on to my last two questions, but I'm curious about this. So, has a fan ever given you something that you still think of and you're just like, damn, that was pretty cool that they gave me that?
I had like a 7-year-old girl give me a bottle of Hennessy one time.
What?
And I think her mother,
of all things, Hennessy too.
Bought it. Yeah, hell, I don't know, but I think her mother bought it, and she was like, "Give this to Walker." But we were in a meet and greet line, and this little girl, I'm gonna say, "Hey, honey, how are you? Let's take a photo. Here's an autograph, whatever." And she goes, she was like, "I have something for you," and she pulled out a bottle of Hennessy. And I looked at Kentucky Mike, and I was like, "What the hell? Did I just have a stroke? What the hell just happened?" And but we took it, we drank it. I mean, that's probably the most memorable, gift or whatever from a fan that's ever happened. I was like, what the hell just happened? I don't even remember what state we were in.
Man, I love that story. Yeah. That's a good story. Okay, so I always end it the same way before we go into your day in the life, our walk the line segment. Yeah. But my two questions to end it always starts with hate. So sadly, we're in the time with hate. Okay. Yeah, with hate. There's a lot of people that watch you that try to, bring you down. Sometimes it may not even be the people on the internet. Sometimes you may have people not believe in your vision. Yeah. And you just want to say, how do you get beyond people not believing in you, your vision, or your music?
I've been lucky and luckily in this town, there's not a lot of, for me, in the town, there's not been a lot of, you can't make it, man. You can't make it. Now there's people online and stuff, obviously, that are just, pricks. But it just kind of, you wake up, man, you just try to have a positive mentality, and those other people just screw them. There's obviously they're not happy in their own lives, so they're trying to bring you down. But hell, that's just part of it, man. If you want to be in the public eye, it's just part of it, man.
Comes with the territory,
dude. Dad, when I was growing up, and Dad was really rocking this stuff. I mean, he'd have death threats. Mom would have death threats. I mean, you'd have crazy people. But for the most part, everybody's pretty supportive. Everybody's just trying to do their own thing, working hard. I mean, but you always do have those nuts. I mean,
who's your support group?
I live with my grandparents, man. And we actually just moved. I live downtown, and then we were lucky enough to get a house. My granddad just turned 80.
Wow.
My grandma, Nene, just turned 79. So we were lucky to get a house, and they're living with me now.
How important is that family ties?
It's awesome. It's just, I mean, look, they're my people. It was, and it sounds terrible, but it's easier for them to come down and see me than it is for me to put my life on hold and go back up to Kentucky. But no, man, having them in my life is probably the most important thing to me. And, they're my number one support. Same with Mama Crystal and Dad and my sister. But no, man, that's the number one. The Nene and Papa are just awesome.
I love it. Yeah. Okay, and now my last question before we go on to your day in the life is, we're in the middle of 2023 when we're filming this. Yeah. This may be out later in 2023 or maybe at the top of next year until we get to it. We're killing it out here, baby. Let's go. Now, my question is, 2023, what are you looking forward to the most the rest of this year, even the top of 2024? What is Walker looking forward to?
Well, we're going to have an EP coming out.
Hey.
By the time this is out, I'm assuming the EP is already out. Probably out in September or something like that. So
maybe we'll get this out in September. Why not?
Come on. But yeah, man, I'm really looking forward to that. I'm really looking forward to how the people react to this new direction we're going into music-wise. And just look, dude, I got a great life. I know it. God has spoiled me like nobody's business.
And you're only 24, dude.
And absolutely, yeah, man. And I'm so lucky. I know it. I had a great childhood, great parents, great grandparents, great everything. And, now I'm following my dream, and unfortunately a lot of people don't get to do that. Mm-hmm. But luckily, for me, I am, and I'm just enjoying every minute of it, man.
Once you get to, me turning 31 this year, once you get to the point, I'm getting old, and I look good though. Yeah. Now I will say this: getting older though, there's something about if nothing happens every year, that's a good year. Yeah. So, like for example, when your mom called, right? You don't never want that. Yeah. You never want that. And I'm blessed to say that. Every year thus far for almost 10 years, and knock on whatever wood I got. Yeah. But has been clear, and it's been a good year. So as you get older, you realize that if the year has been quiet, nothing happened. It's been a good year.
It's a good year, man.
All right. Well, hey, the way that we start the show. Oh, and I want to ask this about that EP real quick. I'm not gonna let you off the hook here.
Yeah. Come on. Ask anything
on that EP. I mean, what can fans expect to hear a little bit differently, or what? Not necessarily. Don't tell me the exact direction, but I mean, just give me a little bit of flair to what to expect.
Some country damn music.
Hey,
and some of the songs. I mean, hell, you know how EP works. Some of the songs are to be out, and some of the songs won't be. But we're gonna have a good mix of songs. We're gonna have some up tempo songs, some mid tempo songs, and then some slow love songs. So it's going to be good.
Plus minus 10 tracks.
Oh, 6 tracks.
Oh, six tracks. Perfect. Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, man, I'm excited to hear it. Yeah. Now, I'm also excited for these people to see a day in the life of you. So the way that we kick it off is that I count you down to 3. You look straight into that camera right there. You say your name. Yeah. And you say, "This is how I walk the line." We're going back to Johnny Cash, Right. Johnny Cash is your day in the life. So, all right. Let's get it going, Walker. You ready?
Yeah.
All right. And 3, 2.
What's going on, y'all? This is Walker Montgomery, and this is how I walk the line.
going on, y'all? It's Walker Montgomery here. It is September 13th, 2023. We're here at the 8th Room. I've got an EP coming out, Work to Do. We're just releasing it, and we're having a party for it. Let's go inside and check it out.
Wonder where you are. Yeah, tonight this bottle better roll up the sleeves, 'cause neither one of us is gonna get any sleep. I'm on the rock, so he's on the clock until the job gets through. When the weekend rolls around, I get to missing you. So this whiskey's got some work to do.
Well, hey, first of all, I appreciate y'all being here. I know that there's, well, hell, it's Nashville. I know there's a lot of stuff going on, and I wish that every show could be at 7:30 in the evening, because it's very easy to get home afterwards. But I do appreciate y'all taking the time to come out. My name's Walker Montgomery. For those of y'all who might not know, we're going to be playing some country music for y'all tonight. We got a fiddle player here, so we have no choice. But got an EP coming out September 15th, which means Friday.
When the weekend rolls around, I get to missing you. So this whiskey's got some work to do. Beer and tequila just don't do the trick, but baby, your memory don't ever quit. So tonight this bottle better roll up the sleeves, 'cause neither one of us is gonna get any sleep. I'm on the rock, so he's on the clock until the job gets through. When the